Hello students, welcome to DVS Math. Today we are continuing electricity lesson, class 10th. So in previous class we learnt about Ohm's law and how the resistors are connected and advantages of series connection. Now next going to our next concept, heating effect of electric current. Heating effect of electric current. As you know, the word is telling about heating effect. So due to electricity, you know that we have so many effects due to electricity, as wind effect. You know how electrical energy is changed to wind energy, and the solar energy, as you know, the electrical or solar energy is converted to electrical energy. So here there is a exchange of energies, or there is conversion of energies. So now if we go on discussing one by one, if you see this, a fan, here what is, if you continuously use the fan, after some time if you touch the blades of that, after switching off, if you touch the blades of some machine, you find that the fan is heated, right? So, or if you consider a bulb, continuously there is a glowing of bulb, after some time or after switching off, if you touch that, you feel that heat is liberated, right? Or if you go for mixer, if you continuous usage of mixing, grind or something, any electrical devices, or like your mobile itself. So if you use continuously the mobile, if you feel like it is heating up, right? So these are all some of the effects of electric current. So here what we can observe is electrical energy is continuously getting dissipated entirely in the form of heat here. That means if you use continuously the electrical appliances, you feel that electrical appliances are heated out. So here what we are conclude is, or here you can observe some devices where electrical energy is directly converted to heat energy. In previous, what you have seen the examples, after using some time, you feel like heat. But there are some devices where electrical energy itself is converting into heat energy. So like electrical iron, or your electrical kettle, or the bed toaster, or oven, or a induction coil. All these are the appliances where electrical energy is converted into heat energy. So here what we can conclude, here electrical energy is transformed or converted into heat energy. So these are some devices. Here what you can say that when electric current passes through a conductor, when electric current passes through a conductor, you consider it as it is high resistance wire, means there is no flow of electric, but you are passing an electric current. As you are passing electrical current, there is a conflict between the resistance and the flow of charges. As you know, the resistance means resisting the flow of charges. So in that conflict, the conductor becomes hot after some time and produces heat. So the heating effect happens due to the conversion of electrical to heat energy also. Sometimes it directly converts electrical to heat, and in sometimes due to the high resistance there will be conflict between the electrons and some motion, it produces heat. So here if you come to the heat, particularly to the heating effect, there are some factors on which heating effect depends. Number one, it depends upon the current. First, it depends upon the current. So if current is more, heating effect will be more. You can observe when a current is less or less power. Clear? So at that time you can see the glowing of bulb, it will be less, or the motion of fan. Clear? So when current is more, there will be motion of electrons will be more, and the heating effect will be more. That means there is a direct connection. So heating effect is directly proportional to the current. Then it depends upon the resistance also. That means if resistance is more, or resisting the flow of charges is more, then heating effect will be the more. How? Means there will be the conflict between the electrons. Rubbing, you can say that if you rub your two palms together, you feel heat, right? In the same way, here when there is a conflict between the electrons due to the resistance, there also we can find the heat. So here it is also directly proportional to the resistance. and the main thing is time. Here time is also one of the factor on which the heating effect depends. Yes, if the more time we use, right, there will be heat. So for example, the more time if you use your mobile, you feel like it is hot, or if you use more fan or bulb, it converts into the heat. So here time is also one of the factor on which the heating effect depends. So finally, we'll give one of the formula for that, for heating effect. H is equal to I square RT. Here one of the important formula is H is equal to I square RT. So here I represents current, R is resistance, T is time, and this particularly given by a person called Joule. So we are calling it as Joule's law of heating effect. Here remember children, one of two laws you are going to learn in this lesson, that is in this electricity lesson. One is Ohm's law. That means here the person gives the relationship between the voltage and the current. But here Joule's law, that means Joule, he particularly talks about the heating effect of electric appliances. So that heating effect, it directly depends upon the current, resistance and time. So for that he give a formula called H is equal to I square RT. So here this we are calling it as Joule's law of heating effect. Then what does Joule's law tells about? You can see the definition. Joule's law of heating effect. So what is Joule's law of heating effect? The heat produced in the resistor. Here resistor is nothing but you can consider it as a bulb or a fan, any electrical appliances, you are calling it as a resistor. Clear? So the heat produced in the resistor is directly proportional to the square of current. For this to remember easily, first observe the formula H is equal to I square RT. So first writing this formula you can define this. Observe, H means heat produced in the resistor. I square means square of the current directly, because here all are directly. Directly means if one is more, another will be more, or if it is less, heat will be less or current will be less. So they are all are directly proportional. So here the heat produced in a resistor is directly proportional to the square of current, and second, it is directly proportional to the resistance, and it is directly proportional to the time for which the current flows. So it depends upon current, resistance, time. So what is the formula for Joule's law of heating effect? H is equal to I square RT. So this is about definition, and they may ask explain Joule's law of heating effect. Just you have to write these 3 points and the formula. Clear? So what is heating effect? Sometimes it causes due to the high resistance, or sometimes conversion of electrical energy to heat energy. There are some application of that. And particularly if we go for the factors, it depends upon the current, resistance and time. Here particularly altogether we are calling it as Joule's law of heating effect. So let's go for next, practical application of heating effect of electric current. Here we are going to explain two appliances children. Here we are taking two and we are talking about their property. Number one, bulb. So bulb, we are talking about bulb here. Here, as you all know, it consists of a filament, thin filament, right? That filament only which emits the light. And for that filament, you have to remember the two important properties of this. One is low resistance. They may ask, write the two properties of bulb. So what is the main properties of bulb? It is low resistance. Low resistance means there will be no the resisting of flow of electrons. They easily flow. So bulb, they easily flow through the circuit and the filament emits the light brightly. So here you have to remember it is low resistance. And high melting point. High melting point, as you know, it is made up of thin filament called as it is made up of a tungsten. And it should have a high melting point. As you know, if heat is more produced in that, if heat is more, sometimes as you know, the bursting of a bulb, right? That means due to the excess flow of current or excess of heat, it melts easily. So what that should not happen. So the main thing is it should have high melting point. That means resisting power of heat. So that should be more. So we are calling it as high melting point. So what are the two important properties of bulb? Low resistance, high melting point. Next, which is the material used in this means it is tungsten. Tungsten is used for filament filled with, and this is chemically filled with nitrogen and argon. Remember, which are the two gases which are filled in this inactive gases. You can remember these are inactive gases, nitrogen and argon. Why they are filled with these two gases means to prolong the life of filament. Remember, it has to be, for example, some bulbs it will burst out in 1 week, or some bulbs are to lifelong, or it may for 3 months or 1 year, like this, right? So for prolong means to extend their lifetime. These are filled with inactive gases like nitrogen and argon. So these nitrogen argons, they extend the life of the bulb or life period of the bulb, you can remember. So what are the two important properties of bulb? Low resistance, high melting point. And which is the material used here? Tungsten. And which are the two gases filled inside the bulb? Nitrogen and argon. Why it is filled? To extend the life period of that filament. Clear? We'll go for next application of this, that is fuse. You all know the fuse, right? Which is all used in our households. So, and here fuse also have two important properties, that is low melting point, high resistance, which is the reverse of bulb. Remember, if you remember the properties of bulb, you reverse it. There low resistance, here high resistance. Low resistance, high resistance. In bulb it is high melting point, here it is low melting point. Let me understand why these two properties are in the fuse. Here, as you all know, fuses are connected in series in a circuit. Why this fuse is used? Because of if there is excessive flow of current, or if it is high voltage, you know that this avoids the flow of charges, that excessive. Because if it allows, you know that there will be damages of some electrical appliances like short circuit, right? Or overloading. These concepts you learn in next lesson. So here in this case, if there is excess of electric current flows through a circuit, this fuse stops or you can say that it resists the flow of charges. So if you are resisting means it should have high resistance. So what is the property? The fuse head has high resistance. Next, low melting point. Why it is low melting point means it is usually, as you know, it is usually made up of a very less melting point metals, like it may be a lead or some other aluminium or like this. Here what happens when excessive current passes through it, what happens that thin wire, it melts itself and breaks the circuit there. So as you know, sometimes you observe the sparks in the fuse. So at that case, what it does is, when excessive current or excessive amount of current flows through the circuit, it stops it or it resists, because as it's having high resistance, if heat is more or electrons flows more, there will be conflict between the electrons and heat produced lot. Due to the heat, the thin wire melts itself and breaks the circuit. It doesn't allow the electric current flows through continue. So this is the main advantage of this, and you can observe this. It is a short length wire. It is made up of short length wire made up of low melting point metal, and this metal melts and breaks the circuit except the current value. And observe here, lead and copper wire melts and burns out when the current. Here mainly it is made up of lead, and in bulb it is made up of tungsten, and lead is having less melting point, and here it increases on when out, if it is observed, increases if it is less than 5 ampere. If the current is flowing less than 5 ampere, there will be no melting of wire that or breaks the circuit. If it is exceeds 5 to 35 ampere of current, if it is in households, if it is more than or 5 ampere to 35 ampere, this fuse, it melts itself, the wire inside it melts itself and breaks the circuit. It doesn't allow the current to flow through any electrical appliances. These are the main properties of the fuse. So in bulb it is low resistance, high melting point. In fuse it is high resistance, low melting point. There we are using tungsten as a material, here we are using lead as a material. Clear? So next, here we are going for next topic, that is electrical power. This is the last concept in this lesson. Electrical power. What is this electrical power? The amount of work done by an electric current per unit time. So here power, I'm saying what is your power? Power means it is your capability of doing some work, right? So here what is that capability of doing particular time, that capability or amount of work done, we are calling it as a power. So what is the definition for electric power? The amount of work done by an electric current per unit time. We are calling it as electric power. So what is here? What is the formula? P is equal to W by T. P is equal to W by T. Here you can remember, here for power we are using 4 formulas. Number 1, 2, 3, 4. Here you can observe. So basically, as you know, power, as the definition say, work done by time. You can take work done by time. But remember, in previous session we discussed about voltage, right, or potential difference. What is that formula? V is equal to W by Q. So but I need the value of W, right? So W means it will cross multiply. So W is equal to VQ. So in place of W, if I substitute VQ by T, as you know, Q by T, what is a Q by T? Charge per time. So it is nothing but current. So continuously it becomes P is equal to VI. So first formula is W is equal to P is equal to W by T. What is the second formula? P is equal to VI. And as you all know, the Ohm's law is built of 3, V, I, R. So as I told you, if you want to V, just multiply IR, or if you want to I, V by R, or if you want to R, V by I. This is the simple triangle to remember the Ohm's line, three formulas. So here also we are doing P is equal to VI we got. So I want, in the place of V, I can, if I substitute IR, so already I is there. In place, if I substitute IR, I square R, right? Or in the place of R, if I take I, V by R, right? I is equal to V by R. So if I substitute I is V by R, already V is there. So V square by R. So which are all the formulas, right? They may write the formula for the power. Formula means more than one. So you can write P is equal to W by T, P is equal to VI, P is equal to I square R, P is equal to V square R. Or they may ask the following, which of the following is not the formula for power. So at that case, what you have to do, you have to sell formula. In options they may give like this. If I consider some example like this, so in option A, which of the following is not the formula for power? Not. So I'll write like this, I square R. So yes, it is right. I R square, can it happen? I R square? No. Here we have I square and V square. I don't have R. Remember, if it is combining with power I, it is I square R, or if it is combining with V, V square by R. So it is V square by R. So these all 4 are the power or the formula for power. So remember this, depending upon the given, we will select the formula and substituting the values, and we will find the answer for power in problems. Clear? So next, if we go for next, as you know, this power, we calculate SI unit is watt. But if we come to the commercial, like large amount of power, watt becomes very small unit. So at that time, we are going to considering it as kilowatt. We are calculating in terms of kilowatt. So here, what is an SI unit of power? It is watt. So for power, as you know, what is the formula for P is equal to VI? P is equal to VI. They may ask, what define 1 watt? As you all know, define 1 volt, 1 ampere, 1 ohm, like this. If they, in the same case, if they ask define 1 watt, it is nothing but power formula is P is equal to VI. V means volt, I means ampere. So 1 volt into 1 ampere. So 1 watt is equal to 1 volt into 1 ampere gives the definition for 1 watt. So but here commercial unit of electrical energy, the same, if we convert this electrical energy in terms of power, here commercial unit of electrical energy we calculate in terms of kilowatt hour. They may ask, write the commercial unit of electrical energy, it is kilowatt hour. And if they ask, convert 1 kilowatt hour into joules, convert commercial unit of electrical energy in terms of joules. So here you can convert 1 kilo means, as you know, 1000. If you consider hour, 60 minutes, 60 seconds, 60 into 60. So 1000 into 60 into 60. So if you multiply 3.6 in 10 to the power of 6 joule. So what is the value of 1 kilowatt hour? 3.6 into 10 to the power of 6 joule. So remember, it is very simple to remember. What is the 6 exa? 36. 3.6 you take 10 to the power of 6 joule. 3.6 into 10 to the power of 6 joules. So 1 kilowatt hour is equal to 3.6 into 10 to the power of 6 joule. So that means in this session we learned what is an heating effect, how it is caused, and what is Joule's law of heating effect, and the factors on which Joule's law of heating effect depends, and what are the factors and the formula for Joule's law of heating effect, and electric power, and the main practical application of heating effect, that is we discussed the properties of bulb, properties of fuse, and the different formulae for power, and SI unit of power, and commercial unit of electrical energy. For more conceptual learning, subscribe my channel and keep watching. Thank you.